Hello everyone. In this video what we're going to do is we're going to test the new version of XPO. In this case what we're going to test is the Always Encrypted feature. So if you're following the blog, you can see that they now support Always Encrypted for SQL Server. So they don't put the details on how it works at all actually. So if you go to these links, let's open them. In one of these you can see the connection string, and that's basically the only thing that you need. Let's see, maybe it's in here. Yeah, you need this, and that's it. You don't need to do anything in your code. So I'm going to run a staff application, this one. If you can see the configuration, see, encrypted, column encryption is enabled. So, well, that's the only thing I have done in here, and I have a class here, customer, which only have like two properties, name and address, both string. So I'm going to run this. The application will create the database, and we will check how the tables are created. Let's open the studio and let's refresh here. Okay, we have the table, and let's do the design here. Okay, if you can see, both are bar charts and bar charts, so basically text. So we put something in the connection string and basically nothing happened. So what you need to do is basically you go to the management studio, you right click on the table, and then you execute this command, encrypt columns. So you have to go through a wizard for this, and let's do it together. So basically in here you have to pick which columns you want to encrypt. So I will do name and address, and I will leave everything else as it is. Then with these columns you need to choose or select which encryption type you want. So for the encryptions, let's see, we have two types, deterministic and randomized. Okay, if it's randomized, um, the encryption will be different all the time per um, per column. It's going to be totally different. So it means that if you encrypt a value two times, you will not be able to compare it, because it will not have the same encryption pattern. So it's more secure because it's totally random, but you lose a lot of functionality with it. And then with deterministic, the encryption happens, I mean, it's the same all the time. So you can use value comparison like equal, but you cannot do it with randomize, I think. So it's important that you know that how you query your information will change depending on the encryption type. So I'm going to do deterministic in here. And then the encryption key is the key that is used, that SQL Server will use to encrypt the data, basically. then the key will be stored in the database also somewhere. I mean, there is a way to see it, but you need to have that encryption key in order to decrypt the information. Okay, so let's finish this. Here, they ask you whether you want to store the master key, and in this case you have two options, or Azure or Windows. So I will do it in Windows in the current user, and then it asks you what to do. You can generate a script so you can do it later, or do something else, like add something like an uh, I don't know, something else that you want to execute before or after the encryption happen. And or you can do here, go here and just proceed and finish, and it will show you like a list of steps, and after that it will execute actually the steps. Here's what's going to happen, and let's finish. And this is going to be a big change. I mean, I will show you what happened. Okay, it's done. So let's show the designer in here. It's still varchar, but let's select data. Well, there is nothing here. So let's run the application and create some data actually. Okay, that's me, and then my brother. Okay, so let's close this. Let's go to the database and check here. See, everything is encrypted. I cannot read it. And I can basically do whatever. I can edit. And if you see, here are the queries. The queries are still the same. I mean, nothing have changed. So we can read data, we can insert new records, and we can edit the records, and it will be the same all the time. So now let's do a small test. I have um, two actions here. So let's go to the controller where the actions live. Here we have two actions. So one of the actions is execute query, and it will just execute a query over the encrypted data. So I will show you the query here, and you will see that it was actually able to retrieve the data. So I will clear this, run. So this doesn't affect your queries or anything. The storage is the same. So for example, if I execute query here, this is the query that was executed. So see, name and address is just a normal select, and everything executes the same. And here is the object it was found. I mean, I didn't put any criteria here, but it just got the first one. So far so good, nothing changed here. So I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to do another test. So I will create a record that fulfill this criteria, so I can do a find. I mean, which will be basically a select with a where um, clause. Clause, that's how you say it, right? Okay, with basically with where. So let's come here and let's rename this to exact.text. Let's save it, close, and yep, that's it. So the first will be like where equals the type of query that will execute. See where data and name equals this parameter. So the query was executed and the record was found. Now I'm going to use a criteria parse to use the start with operator. So I will create the operator first. But when I try to execute a start with, it cannot be executed in that type of columns that are encrypted. So let's go and check the query. Here's the problem basically. So let's go and see. See, the query is using like, and it doesn't like it basically. Because this query, I think it will not execute anyway, even if you run it in the console of SQL Server. So the start with is not working. That basically is a start with in SAF or XPO, but is a like query in SQL Server. So I'm going to show you also this one, that I know that this doesn't work because I tried it before, but I wanted to show you. So this is not a start with, which is a function operator. I'm going to use a binary operator with the old version of like that they say there that you should not use it, that you should use a start with or end with, but I'm going to use the old version. So we can see what happens in here. I mean, I can show you the query and I can show you the result. So let's run it again. And execute. And see, the same. Basically, when you have those type of columns with encryption, you cannot do like. See, here is the same query. And basically the problem is the same. Operand type clash and varchar with encrypted column. So you can do equal, but you cannot do like, basically, or string functions. So well, that's everything in this video, and I guess let's ask Developer Express about how can you use those type of operators or those type of criterias, or how can you work around that problem basically. So well, that's everything for this video. I will put some links, basically the link to the blog, the link to what they ask you to check in the document, I mean in the blog post, and then this video where they explain how to encrypt the database and how does it work. Actually, it's a really good video. So that's it, and well, see you guys in the next video.